Okay, I just want to have a short little video. I wanted to show you I had been doing a lot of thinking about how I had constructed these sets of shelves. And you can see I still goofed this one up. The bottom part's coming down just a little bit, which kind of ticks me off, but I'll live with it. And I have multiple versions. One that is a far more like the shelving units are basically fold, put in and just glue. It's much easier. But this version, which is using, if I flip this over a little bit, you can see that I'm using that laminated carton board. And I think for these bottom pieces I use some gray chipboard. And these look really different from some of the ones that I have made in the past, and I've been working really slow today, mulling over methods that I wanted to try to get the shelves to look the way I needed them to look. And of course I don't have out the older set of shelves, so I have to reach behind me and root around through a box, and they're in here somewhere. Please enjoy this music. Okay, here we go. There's one set there and another set here. So you can see here, this is the part that just this is the part that's just making me nuts. This looks like a rodent chewed this out, which just really ticks me off. I don't like how this is bowing right here. I don't like this being on the outside. And I went back through some of my notes that I had done while I was going from the black and white version to the redesign for the color versions. And I realized that I had banked on, you can see, let me see if I can get something a little bit more pointy. You can see here this solid line and the dashed line, and then this is some gray chipboard. This is supposed to be inside, and I'm like, I'm doing one of those. I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I did that. But that does not necessarily solve the fact that the chipboard up here at the top looks like I gnawed it out. I mean, come on, look at that. That's just disgusting. Those little nipped out pieces, it was driving me nuts. And this was the second version, which I kind of tried to go over with paint, and it still didn't look right. I did the drawers or the shelves a little differently, and then I decided I'd try to cover that up. I still don't like it. So what I did was, if you look in here very closely, let me see, I'm going to have to use my pencil. Okay, oop, there we go. From the place where the fold is to where the wood is about 1 centimeter. I say roughly about. I think on one of these I goofed it up and it's a little too close. And what I am planning on doing is putting that back piece in here again for these two, which I think will look a lot nicer. I'm trying it out here as well, and going with the one shelf because that's proportional. That looks a lot better. But here is the difference. I had noticed while working on other pieces, especially the bunk beds and the twin beds, that when I cut these out with my scissors, it doesn't look nearly as bad. It still doesn't look great, but it doesn't look as bad. And I really love this curved element at the top of these units, these bookshelves. So I thought, well, what if, and you'll notice here, I'm putting these together. These are they're not quite the same size. They're about 2 centimeters difference. There's a little bit more on that end and a little bit more on that one. You can kind of see where that's. So what I plan on doing is taking this inner piece, which I have glued another piece of like stiff heavyweight paper to the back of and then cut it all out at once with scissors. This piece is going to go to the inside, and then these flapperdoodles are going to go over that piece, which I like a lot better. Now, if we flip this back, this still leaves the back open. Then this piece, once everything is dried and is dried flat, will be glued there. So instead of having the bigger piece on the inside, I've simply made it about a third of the size, and I'm attaching it to the outside. And so far, I like how this is looking. So, hopefully, and I think this is the pink one, and this will go on the top. And I added some more board to it so it's not going to bow like I added another piece of the heavyweight paper on the inside, so it shouldn't bow. So hopefully that will work. I want to get these done, and with the exception of gluing this piece on, and under some weights so it can glue completely flat. Do both of these and get them under some weights, and glue them down. So yeah, that's what I've been working on today, and I gotta say, forcing myself to work so slow is driving me absolutely nuts. My cough miraculously has not been bad during trying to film this. My cough has gotten bad again, so I've been coughing and wheezing and honking and such. So hopefully I can get through this and get this finished and move on to some other things that I have in the works. Yeah, so hopefully, yeah, I'll get that all done and I can move on and do some other things. But let me know what you think about this. I still think for the piece, the ones that I'm going to release as, you know, buy this piece of furniture or buy this whatever, when and if I release those, one day I want to release it, the next day I suck and I don't want to release them. I'm still going to change this into a curve because I just think that'll be easier. Just one curve that goes from here to here, and it won't be any higher than this, but I'll keep these elements, but then just add in something that links them all together, some more viney elements, and I think that'll work out really well. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I've also been pining about, with all this furniture, I need to build some rooms. I also need to do a massive cleanup in here, but I'll talk about that another time. So that's what's going on here. Cross your fingers. I really hope that this works because I really like how these are coming together. They're coming together nice and solid. Yeah. And thanks, patrons, and I'll see you in the next video.